like Marvin said, it make me wanna holler. How they doing? My life is straight trife. They robbing me without a gun or a knife. Hey, what I needed was Europia persona. I'm blowing the system.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Think Tank Show. I'm so happy to be your host today. Let me also greet you with the words of peace and blessings of Ramadan Mubarak. It's a special day, special month. We're actually in day 7 of Ramadan, and that is the celebration of many Muslims all around the world celebrating Ramadan, which is the revelation of the Holy Quran. And I introduced this book the last time on the show. Sorry, I have a lot of notes in here. This is my study book, Holy Quran. And so, the Holy Quran was revealed in the month of Ramadan. And so, to celebrate that, Muslims all around the world fast. We do not drink or eat anything while the sun is out. So, what that means is we might wake up early in the morning, of course, after our prayer, Fajr prayer at 5, and we may have a little coffee, some juice, some fruit, something like that, certainly some water. And this is all before sunset, or excuse me, sunrise. And then once the sun comes out, nothing else to drink or eat, to include any snacks or candies or peppermints, none of that until sunset. And sunset is around 9 or 9:05 in the city of Detroit, and that's when we can break our fast and give thanks to God for giving us the strength to abstain and have control over our bodies. And so that's what Ramadan is. And so when someone says Ramadan Mubarak to you, the return greeting is Ramadan Kareem. So I'm really excited to do this show today. And first of all, I want to thank Brother Sutton Bay. He is here, but working in the control room to help make this all happen. The show today is going to be about the importance of a well dressed man. And the reason why I really wanted to do this show is because my guest, who you'll see in a moment, Brother Kevin, came to my school, and I talk about my students often with the viewers. I teach high school, all males, teenage boys, and I asked him to come to the school to teach them the importance of a well dressed man, the importance of wearing a tie and a suit, how to even tie a necktie, a bow tie, other specific things about dressing like a man. And he came to the school, and let me tell you, I was almost brought to tears. I mean, I saw my students put on ties, learn how to tie them, and all of a sudden they were standing upright. I mean, we're talking about students hunched over, wearing sagging pants, all of that, and they put this tie on. And his ties are gorgeous and beautiful, and I want to be able to show those today. And then all of a sudden, their shoulders went up and back, their chest came out, their head was lifted, and they said, "Look at me, Miss Muhammad. I'm a man. Look at me. I'm a boss. Look at me." And they started smiling. And I mean, it was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. It was like watching the transformation of a person that's on a low level of thinking and dressing, and to a high level, into the thinking of God, and to coming into their own and recognizing the beauty within themselves that was always there, but for whatever reason they didn't recognize it. And then all of a sudden they have on a tie, a necktie, and they're standing upright, and they're just so proud of themselves. And I had never seen them look at themselves like that. And I said, okay, I think I need to bring this brother on the Think Tank show, and we need to have a conversation about a well dressed man and what is that? There's a science behind it. There's a reason why when women see a man that is well dressed, suited and booted, and knows himself and is walking properly and wearing his pants with a belt and not sagging. We can't see underwear, and he's got a jacket on, and he just looks good. He looks like he's about business. And it's something that does to a woman when she sees that. It's very beautiful. It's very attractive, and we need to talk about that. And we need to find a way to help our young people fall in love with dressing properly and getting away from the fad and the things that they do in terms of the streetwear of wearing their pants with no belts and underwear showing and just sagging, drooping clothes. And now I heard they're talking about having men wear something that looks almost like a romper for men. A romper, what children wear. We'll talk about it when we come back from the break. But all of this we need to address because I think there's an attack on black manhood and masculinity. There's a hidden hand in all of this. And, as a black woman, I reject that. And I think most black women reject it, and we're going to talk about it. So please stay tuned. Get your young people by the television. If you're watching, parents, stay tuned. Grandparents, stay tuned because we're going to talk about maybe some tactics and some things that you can do to help your son, your grandson, pull up those pants and start dressing like a well-dressed man. Thank you. You're watching the Think Tank Show. We'll be right back.
I'm phased up, illuminated. I see you watching, I know you hate it. We done woke up, re-educated off of Jubilees. Demonstrate a new nation, come of age. A long way high from them slavery days. Let my people in before we kick the door. Had them up tees coming with the swords. We born more, reduce the black, lace my boots up. Cause I ain't having that. Call me a citizen, no, I'm a national. King Kendrick Seal, they calling me a radical. Cause I'm outside the box and I ain't looking in. I be my riff knocked out, gray shadowed in. Europeanized mindset hammered in. The great fall of the Moor man, I was on my square, on my five. Consciousness on overdrive, mind state on high. Praise Allah that I'm alive. Awake from the grave in the sea full of lies. I come to claim this mine, so step back. It's that time, it's the return of the Moors. Return of the Moors. Return of the Moors. It's the return of the Moors. Return of the Moors. Return of the Moors.
As I rise above the murky thesis of the flesh, I give praises to Allah, cause every day I'm blessed. I'm being tested daily, living among the shady. At night I gotta pray, if not the streets will drive me crazy. I'm keeping things in a bounds of moderation. Being locked up taught me to practice patience. Every year I'm trying to see another more celebration. I once was in the dark, but now the light is facing. I thank Parker Bay for all the faithful demonstrations. We know death is a friend, so ain't no escaping. Islam means peace. I'm surviving in these streets. Too many years in prison, so knowledge I had to seek. I got a conflicting soul, but now my soul is meek. I got the gift, honest to Noble Drew Ali. He opened my eyes, so now I plainly see what the Moor Sign Temple strictly did for me.
On my square, on my five, consciousness on overdrive, mind state on high. Praise Allah that I'm alive. Awake from the grave in the sea full of lies. I come to claim what's mine, so step back. It's that time, it's the return of the Moors. Return of the Moors. Return of the Moors. It's the return of the Moors. Return of the Moors. Return of the Moors. It's the return.
Assalamu alaikum, family. Welcome back to the Think Tank Show, and we are talking about the importance of a well-dressed man. So I want to introduce you to my guest, which is Brother Kevin. How you doing, Brother Kevin?
I'm well. Thanks for
All
having me.
praises due to Allah. This is the brother that I was just talking about that came to my school, that showed my students how to tie a tie, how to tie a bow tie and a necktie. And I mean, I saw the transformation of my students right before my eyes. And I sent him a text message and I told him, I almost was in tears because they look so beautiful and I was so proud of them. And most importantly, importantly, they were so proud of themselves. But before I go any further, I want to deal with this week's topic, or well, I guess study in the self-improvement basis for community development study guide. Okay, so we're studying this, and I introduced this book. And the reason why I want to read this real small part really quickly, because there might be some people watching us today that have some mixed feelings and controversy over what we're about to talk about, which with regards to the sagging pants and the dress etiquette and the dress code that you see many young men are wearing, many young black men are wearing, and some comments about that. So let me just say this real quickly. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that mixed feelings and controversy surrounded the Honorable Elijah Muhammad when he first moved to Phoenix. Likewise, those mixed feelings surrounded Brother Farrakhan and my coming into this area. These mixed feelings of apprehension and fear and love and hope come because the man and his message is understood by many and in the black community, but misunderstood and purposely misrepresented by those in other communities, and this is what creates such controversy around myself, my person, and the message that I represent. So we're trying to break down the misunderstanding. The only way to do that is to have a conversation. So you had an opportunity to talk to my students, Brother Kevin, the other day about dressing like a well-dressed man and getting their opinion about, you asked them some important questions. Do you want a suit? And I think the most important question that followed that was, why do you want a suit? And so I was even shocked by some of the answers that I heard. Were you shocked, and have you had conversations with young men, young black men, about the sagging pants and, just how they present themselves?
Well, absolutely. And I want to go back to what you said originally when you sent me the text that said you almost moved to tears. When I answered your text, I didn't tell you, but I was almost moved to tears as well, because we did see a transformation of those who are oftentimes neglected and forgotten about and not treated with the same dignity that we all deserve and expect. Secondly, you talked about the study guide, mixed feelings and controversy. And oftentimes we leave off the second part, which is, and how do we handle it?
Yes,
and so
thank
the
you.
most important thing is just being able to introduce a new word to those young men and to see how they handled it.
Right.
And that's what really was the blessing in it, that I was allowed to be a vessel to just deliver a word and just to say, man, you have value in yourself. And if you recall, I had everyone stand up and introduce themselves. And the
Yes.
manner in which they introduced themselves, I let everyone go through until it was done. Then I introduced to them the idea that the way that you say your own name, you tell the world what you think about yourself. And so
Right.
in so doing, I had them stand up and redo it. And even that gave them a sense and a chance to say something about themselves by just saying their own name. So
Right.
then we moved into why you should dress a certain way and how you should look and how you present yourself, because there's so much value, although we just have to mind it out.
Now, you told them the history. First, you asked them if they knew the history behind the sagging pants. And many of them said homosexuality, and it started in jail. And then you came with a different answer, and they were actually quite surprised at what you told them. Can you share that with the audience
Yes.
and the viewers today?
Now, a lot of people say that sagging pants came from prison, that it was somehow you were advertising if you were ready to engage in some sort of homosexual activity. And it didn't originate there. That has some truth to it, but it didn't originate there. It originated in slavery, when the slave masters would take the belts from the men slaves, so that running away would be much more difficult. So then the prisons in California adopted the same principle. And so because of the gang culture so strong in prison in California at that time, many of the prisons would buy designer boxers. So when their pants fell down, you could see what gang they were in, or you could see that they had some designer boxers as an opportunity. Even as by it being on a low level, it still meant something of value. Like my drawers are designer.
Right.
whether it was Tommy Hilfiger or Calvin Klein or Joe Box or Fruit of the Loom or whatever the case may be. That's where it began. So then it took a turn through hip hop culture, because then hip hop culture took it, and you see a lot of young men sagging and wearing certain boots, and it became a status, or it became a popular thing to do. It later evolved into what people are talking about as it relates to homosexual advertisement in prisons and jails and that kind of thing. Because really, when you see people sagging in their pants walking down the street, you don't think homosexual. You just think he needs to pull his pants up.
Right.
You know, most people don't think that.
Right. So now I'm going to ask you a question, and I know you know the answer to. What does FOI mean? We have a lot of viewers who know, and then some who don't know. People are watching us on TV 33, and people are watching us on the internet. And by the way, we're also going to allow you to call in and ask your questions. We love to hear from the viewers. We will put the number at the bottom of the screen. You should be able to see it right now, and that number is 313-868. Am I saying that right? 4336. I'm pretty sure. 868-4336, and that's a 313. Please call in. We want to hear from you. We want to talk to you about this dress code of many of the young black men walking around sagging. Now I saw something on a Facebook the other day of a new fad completely of just pulling the pants completely down. I don't know if that was just a prank or what, or if it actually is going to become some kind of fashion statement. But can you tell the audience what is an FOI, and why is it when we see the FOI out in the street selling the final call, other things that they're doing in terms of entrepreneurs with their business, they're dressed like you. They have on a suit. Why is that?
Well, FOI stands for Fruit of Islam, and it is the name given to the military training to the men who belong to Islam in North America. You know, the word fruit is the we know that it's the best part of a tree. It is the fruition, or it is the best part that represents that tree. So a fruit is, in our case, the men who belong to Islam in North America. Now, we are trained to dress up, be clean, be neat, have good manners, and represent to the rest of the world what good manners look like. We refer to one another as brothers. We refer to people as sir and ma'am. And it's hard to really say or paint the picture, because when you see a FOI out in the street, you see a trained brother. Now, you don't know what he looked like before he came. And so oftentimes you find that there was a brother that may have been engaged in criminal activity, but because he has been introduced to a word, he put that criminal element down. Now he's out there selling the final call, selling fruit, or selling something positive, something healthy to people, when there was a time when he was out there selling death. So some people come and they mock and they say, well, what would make a man stand out here in the sun? It's because he's been introduced to a word, and that word has given him life, and it has resurrected him in his thinking.
Right.
And so now he's an entrepreneur. Now he understands the value of customers. Now he understands the value of being polite. He understands how to approach people. He understands how, and it didn't happen overnight. It became, he had to deal with rejection. He had to deal with being disappointed, because people come by and they say foul things, but he goes on and he develops a love for his people. He develops a love for himself. He dresses up in a suit. That means he understands that he means business. When his
Right.
feet hit the floor, he's ready to go about having a productive day. So a lot of times you find a young man who has no direction. However, when he comes up under the training of the FOI, under the voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he becomes a man. He begins to train and sees what a man looks like. He's responsible. You might find a young man that has 2 or 3, unfortunately, baby mamas, and no real responsibility, no sense of this is what I need to do to take care of my home. But once he comes and becomes an FOI, or at least is exposed to a word, he goes back and he takes care of his responsibilities.
Right.
So we have a lot of sometimes negative reputations, but underneath and behind the scenes, there's a lot of great things going on. It is really the process of resurrection.
So I know your wife, Sister Tanisha. She is beautiful. She is a
Thank you.
baker. She's an entrepreneur like you. I actually hired her before, and she's, let me tell you, the best in the business. And your family, just beautiful. How do they feel with regards to the business that you have, supporting you in that? You're both entrepreneurs. How does that work?
Well,
And how do they feel about your business?
let me add something about my wife. My wife just went back to school and got her MBA. She'll actually
Oh,
graduate
praises to Allah.
June
That's excellent.
24th, and she's walking at the Fox Theater. So
Oh,
congratulations
that's
to my wife, and
wonderful.
she's
Congratulations, sister.
in business with a concentration on entrepreneurship and small
Okay.
business. So uh, that experience and just the fact that she made up in her mind that she wanted to go back to school as
Right.
a mother, as a businesswoman, as a wife, and with so many different things. So she took it upon herself. She made up her mind and she did it, and graduated with honors in the National Honor Society.
Wonderful.
Yep. So I want to give congratulations to my wife, Sister Tanisha, and to my children, because they support me. We support my wife, and we support our children.
Right.
And the support is just, it's really phenomenal. How do they feel about it? Well, it just depends. If business is up, I know they feel one way. If business is not up, they probably feel another way. But nonetheless, it's always just love. It's just the love and support is always there.
That's excellent. So I pulled up an article, and I want our viewers to go to finalcall.com when you get an opportunity. And this article says Farrakhan leads peacemaking efforts in the streets of Chicago. This was in July 25th, 2012. And the only part that, I thought was really interesting was it says, as the minister did his work, the brothers, dressed in suits and trademark bow ties, did theirs in other parts of the community. Women in the neighborhoods broke down and cried, happy to see the minister and the FOI. Children ran up to Minister Farrakhan. He hugged them. Mothers presented youngsters saying, "There's Farrakhan and the brothers." What is it about this visual? And people probably remember seeing it from Malcolm X, the movie, when he was outside of the hospital, and you had all of these brothers standing there, suited and booted. I mean, looking fantastic and looking like they were there about business. What is it when people see that image and see a well-dressed man that makes them have this reaction that this article talked about? And then you could pull the article up on your own time and see that there are pictures and what have you. What is it that creates that emotion? And then we have let's take this caller. I'm sorry. Let's take the caller first, and then we'll get to the question. Hi, caller. You're on the air. Assalamu alaikum.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am so blessed, thank you. My brother is looking so. My brother is looking so good.
Hold on,
You
sister. We need to
are-
make sure we can hear the question.
Can you hear me?
1 second, sister. We want to make sure we can hear your question. We want to make sure, because we don't want to miss anything you're about to say, because I can just sense it's going to be valuable. And we appreciate you calling, so we want to make sure we can hear you. Okay, go ahead, sister.
Well, I'm just going to go to the first part of the show, talking about the young men and the belts.
Yes, ma'am.
I often heard years back that the plantation owners would take belts no matter how old a black man was, and told them that you can wear a belt when you get to be a man. And at that time, they never got to be a man until they left that plantation. So if the young men of today can remember one thing, I am a man. I need my pants to walk with, to run with. God bless you, and thank you for
God
taking my
bless you.
call.
God
Thank you.
bless you. Thank you so much for that. That was excellent. Let me see, make sure I have that off. Okay, wow. What did you have a comment to the caller and what she just said?
I would just thank you, because that's the same information we came up with. I didn't know about that there was some sort of incentive, or that means at some point you could wear a belt. But now we wear belts. We have the option of wearing them, and we
Right.
should wear them.
Right.
But I wanted to answer your question, or
Yes,
at least
please.
comment to the article.
And then we're actually going to show you, audience, how to tie a tie. Because when I posted this on my Facebook, there was one person, a Facebook friend, that said, Sister Katrina, I'm so glad you did that with your students, because I actually didn't learn how to tie a tie until I was around 27 or 28, and I only learned after the FOI class. Some brothers, stayed behind and taught me how to tie a tie. He was 27, 28 years old. So I'm assuming maybe there's some young viewers watching us now, or whatever age you might be, and you're saying, you know what, I do want to learn how to tie a tie. Well, I have the expert right here that's going to give you a demonstration and show you how to do that before we conclude our section of the show today. But please answer that question, the previous question.
The article that you pulled up is approximately a year or two old.
Correct.
The thing is, we experienced that Monday when we went out. We went out Monday during the Memorial Day holiday when we knew our people would be out
Now, when
early
you
in the
said we,
morning.
you're talking about the other FOI?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And-
Muhammad Mas, number 1 on Wyoming. Okay.
And the sisters will come out and saying, we've been waiting on y'all. We so appreciative of you all being out here. And we're not out there trying to convert nobody in no religion. We're just saying, listen, we out here, we know how dangerous these streets are. We know that the children can't even come outside and play, or you can't walk to the store without the fear of being harassed or mugged or beaten or murdered or something. And so we're out here saying, listen, we want to promote peace. We want you to know that the streets are safer than you think. And because you see men in suits, you don't have an opportunity to cringe because you think someone is looking like riffraff. We mean business.
Right.
And so the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan put that call out, get out in the streets with your people.
Right.
And it's a demonstration of how we love our people. What Jesus said, get out in the highways and the byways.
That's right.
And so this is what we're trying to do, represent the word of Jesus and take it and introduce it to our people.
I love that. Now, can you give them a demonstration on? Okay, wait. Hold on. Breaking news. Our co-host is here. Sutton Bay.
I have to say this. I don't know how to tie a tie.
Rocking his.
I don't know how to tie a tie.
You don't know how to tie a tie?
I do not know how to tie a tie. I'm 47 years old, and I
Oh,
do not
praise
know
is
how
due.
to tie a tie.
We're gonna show you today.
I'm just getting comfortable with button-ups.
Look, you need to understand
I'm
how
working
serious
on
this
it. I'm
is.
a work in progress.
The brother just came out of the control room to do this demonstration with us.
I'm a work in progress. Now listen, I am a work in progress, and it's a whole bunch of brothers out there that's just like me.
That's right.
I don't wear my pants sagging,
No, you don't.
and
You
when
don't. He doesn't do that.
and how you gonna get away from the police if your pants is down to your knees? But anyway,
Or any other kind of enemy.
but listen, just because you don't know how to tie a tie doesn't mean that you can't ask for help.
Right.
Because one day you're gonna grow up,
That's right.
and that's what I
Or
didn't
have a
realize.
son.
And I had to realize
That's right.
that I had to grow up.
Right.
And when I grew up, I understood I gotta learn how to tie a tie. Now, give me a tie.
Let's do this.
I don't know how to tie a tie, y'all.
He's gonna show you.
I don't know how to tie a tie. I'm serious. I don't know how to do it.
I'm so glad this is happening. See, I knew this would be a good show. I knew we needed to do this. I prayed on this, audience. I want you to know, okay? So let's look at how this is done. Go ahead and verbalize what you're doing so our viewers can see and hear.
Well, on a tie, you have a fatter end and a skinnier end. You always want the fatter end to be longer. You take the fatter end over the skinny end, and you pull it up. And this is simple enough. You make a real simple knot. You bring it around, and it depend on which knot you're actually tying. So if you are just tying a half Windsor, you just bring it around.
See, you lost me right there. A half Windsor.
Right.
See, it's a whole bunch of brothers out there
Make
like
sure
me.
you can see.
We don't even know what a Windsor.
Can
You
we
talking
get a
about
tight
Canada?
shot on this tie?
Well, I'm gonna
Of
name
our
the knot
brother.
for you. I'm gonna name the knot for you.
Okay.
So you just bring it around,
Bring it around.
and you pull the fat end through,
Fat end through.
Excellent.
and then you just stuff it through the knot.
Stuff it through the knot.
That is nice.
And then
Don't think you're not.
and then you-
Excuse me.
Huh?
Don't think you're not going to try this.
I'm gonna try.
Oh,
then you
okay.
just tighten it with the smaller end.
But I just gotta say something, brother. You the only brother I seen look good with two ties. Two chains, two ties.
Two ties.
Two tie
Two
FOI.
ties.
Nah. In this case, I
Did
have
you
on,
see the cufflinks though?
In this case, I have on this a spread collar shirt,
Okay.
and so in that case, you would do a full Windsor.
Okay.
And so again, you begin the same way. You take the fat end and you come up under. You bring it around. So now it makes it a little bigger. And then you bring it around. And that's the difference between a half Windsor and a full Windsor.
Man, this is like a Rubik's Cube to me, man. I do not know what you just did.
If my 16 and 17-year-olds got it, you can get it.
I don't think we have enough time on the Think Tank show to teach me, but I know it's some brothers out
I
there.
think
that
we
just
have
learn.
about 2-3 minutes. We can make it happen.
Well, one of the things we're going to talk about is a program that we're putting together called Groom Camp.
Okay.
And Groom Camp that's what this is all about.
Come up on the mic.
Groom Camp, that's what it's all about. We'll get to that in just a moment. But the one thing I want to say, Brother Southern Bay, is thank you for coming out here saying that, because
It's the
Yeah.
truth.
because oftentimes we don't want to ask for help because we don't want to say what we can't do.
Exactly.
And that's what we cannot do. We got to get away from that. We need help. We need help. So
Exactly.
if you know how to tie a tie 5 minutes from now, then that means you're better.
That's right.
That means you've been introduced to a word. That's just one more level of resurrection that you're better today than you was 5 minutes
Right.
ago. So we can't be afraid to ask each other.
We
And
have
that's
to.
one thing
We
about-
have to ask for help. I mean, if you don't, if a person don't know you don't know, then how they gonna help you?
That's right.
I don't know how to tie a tie. I'm
That's right.
47 years old. You know, my life is an open book. I've been incarcerated. I wasn't into wearing suits. I was into wearing track suits and blue jeans and T-shirts and baseball hats, and I'm still into that, even to this day. But at the same time, I understand even with whatever you have on, make sure it looks presentable.
True.
Look your best with whatever you got.
Exactly.
When we was incarcerated, I'm going to tell you something. We had crease in our pants, crease in our shirts. They was ironed, and they was state clothes,
They was
but
ironed.
we looked good. It was ironed. Yeah, they were ironed. Look,
That Detroit accent.
I'm so sick of you, I don't know what to do. But anyway, it was ironed.
Ironed.
And even when we used to go on visits, the sisters used to be like, these brothers had the audacity to come out here in these prison clothes looking good.
But I appreciate you saying that, because essentially what you're saying is whatever we were wearing, we took pride in what we
took
were
pride.
wearing. We took care of it. We made sure it was clean. It was pressed. We wanted to be presentable and whatever we had on. And essentially that's what we're talking about.
That's right.
We're talking about being presentable, being a well-dressed man, and the importance of that. So for single mothers, what's the advice?
My advice to single mothers, and I'm out of here. I'm going to get out the way. Do not let your sons buy no rompers.
Okay. Thank you for that. So rompers, audience, is essentially like that jumpsuit that babies wear that go, all the way. They're just like a one piece. And if you want to have them use the restroom or something, you have to take the whole entire thing down or off, or like overalls, but they're shorts. That's what a romper is. And I've been hearing that men are starting to wear rompers. Like this has become some type of trend. And I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned about men wearing these long shirts that come over the waistline, and they somewhat look like dresses. I'm starting to see that as a fad. I'm concerned about these tight jeans that men are wearing. Why are they wearing tight jeans? These look very feminine. I'm very concerned about that. So it's not just the sagging pants here. There's a lot of other new fashions that are out there that seem to be perpetrated in our community. Would you agree with that? And then after that, I think you'll probably close us out because we have another segment to our show.
Yeah, now, and the thing of it is, we live in a world that's diametrically opposed to the Word of God. And so anytime you can get the people of God to engage in behavior that is contrary to God's Word, then you are, in fact, dumbing that people down, or you actually stripping them of their power. Because anytime you can act within the Word of God, then you're acting within your power. You're beginning to display that you have power like God in smaller versions. And so anytime we can dress or act or conduct ourselves other than ourselves, then we are being stripped of our natural power, and that is that the God that resides in us.
Do you want to tell people how they can stay in touch with you in case they want to call you or send you an email and say, you know what, brother, can you teach me and my children how to tie a tie?
Absolutely.
You want to give them some contact information.
Yeah, my email address is kevin@pocketstay.com. That's POCKETSTAY.com. And that happens to be a device that I actually invented that keeps your pocket square from falling inside the breast pocket of a suit, sports jacket, or a tuxedo. A must for the well-dressed man.
That's
and
right.
So we have a website, pocketstay.com, and you can always call the show, and Sister Katrina could get
Most
you
definitely.
in touch with me. Yes, ma'am. Because we are actually working on what's called Groom Camp, and we'll maybe another show I'll come back and we'll really lay out the protocol and the format of that.
That sounds exciting. So I hope you enjoyed our show today. I'm going to end with the book of the week. Because I was absent a couple of days, I'm going to give you two books. This one is Message to the Black Man by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Of course, many people have had this book or heard of this book. I would like to invite you to reread this book, because every time I reread this book, I see and find something new that I didn't see before. So I'd like to invite you to get this book, and of course, you can get it from the Final Call. And most recently, I was blessed to interact with Brother Minister Nuri Muhammad. He wrote a book, several books, but I bought this one recently, Let This Mind Be in You, the Master, the Messenger, the Minister, Nuri Muhammad. This is a great book. You can also get this, I believe, on finalcall.com. We have to become a nation of readers, black people, right? Allah said, Iqra. That was the first word. That's what he commanded, which means read. So I greet you with the words of peace and paradise of Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak. Thank you for watching The Think Tank Show.
Tamla Morris Brown, CEO of Aaliyah's Motivation of Women. Tamla's pain is her motivation, which is also her battle cry. Join her in her leadership to bring awareness to fibromyalgia. Let's make a difference and bring the end to 24 hours, 365 days a year of pain. Tamla Morris Brown can be reached at 313-289-4090. That's 313-289-4090. Join her if you or somebody you know has fibromyalgia. Tamla, a soldier in pain.
I'm phased up, illuminated. I see you watching, I know you hate it. We done woke up, re-educated off of Juali's demonstration. A new nation, come of age. A long way high from them slavery days. Let my people in before we kick the door. Had them up T's coming with the swords. We born more, reduce the black, lace my boots up, cause I ain't having that. Call me a citizen, no, I'm a national. King Kendrick Seal, they calling me a radical, cause I'm outside the box and I ain't looking in. I be my riff knocked out, gray shadowed in, Europeanized mindset hammered in. The great fall of the Moor man, I was on my square, on my five, consciousness on overdrive, mind state on high, praise Allah that I'm alive, awake from the grave in the sea full of lies. I come to claim what's mine, so step back. It's that time, it's the return of the Moors, return of the Moors, return of the Moors. It's the return of the Moors, return of the Moors, return of the Moors.
As I rise above the murky thesis of the flesh, I give praises to Allah, cause every day I'm blessed. I'm being tested daily, living among the shady. At night I gotta pray, if not the streets will drive me crazy. I'm keeping things in a bounds of moderation. Being locked up taught me to practice patience. Every year I'm trying to see another more celebration. I once was in the dark, but now I like a basin. I thank Parker Bay for all the faithful demonstrations. We know death is a friend, so ain't no escaping. Islam means peace. I'm surviving in these streets. Too many years in prison, so now I had to seek. I got a conflicted soul. But now my soul is
Islam, Moorish Americans, Islam, all well-wishers. It's indeed a pleasure to be here this evening on the Think Tank Show. I am Sister Amexem Cook Bay. I am Amexem Cook Bay and Divine Minister on Facebook. First and foremost, I'd like to give praise to Allah, the great God of the universe. Honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who brought us our nationality and our birthrights. I'd like to give honors to Brother Marcus Garvey, who did stir up the people for the coming of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And I also want to give honors to all honors that are due. First and foremost, we want to start with the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. I'll be reading from the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Salvation, our God, unity. And on the top it has a crescent and a star, which is the moon and a star, for salvation. Our God is our all-seeing eye, and unity as the hand press. The Moorish Science Above America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. I'll be reading from Act 6. Act 6, with us all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. I'm going to stop right there. The dates that are important here that we are going into. These names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. Now, slavery has ended. You are now supposed to proclaim your nationality, and it tells you about your free national name as a Moorish American. I'm going to read from this book. It is the 7th edition, a detailed analysis of the Constitution. I'll be reading from this is chapter 5. I'm on page 117, and it's speaking about the 13th Amendment. Amendment 13. Section 1, banning slavery. So slavery has been banned. So that's why you're no longer supposed to use those names. Those are slaveholder names. Negro, black, colored, Ethiopian, African American, or whatever name they have came up with to identify you. Although Amendment 13 was intended to apply only to African Americans, its language is, again, so broad as to protect any nationality, race, or color in the continental United States and in our outlying territories and dependencies. The current viability of the 13th Amendment is attested to by the conviction of a Louisiana man in 1979 for enslaving 2 Mexican aliens on his farm. Note, however, the fact that imprisonment of criminals is not considered involuntary servitude, nor do certain types of work of a public or semi-public nature come within the meaning of the amendment. For example, seamen are treated as an exceptional class, and one who deserts his vessel is violation. So when you're a deserter, it's telling about deserters, his vessel is violation of a contract. Then I'm going to skip down. I'm going to page 118. I'm going to skip down to section 2, enforcement. This is self-explanatory. Congress, by passing laws that make it a crime for anyone to subject another person to slavery, has provided very stiff punishments for those so convicted. Recent Supreme Court decisions make the 13th Amendment applicable not only to slavery, but also to discrimination of any kind of whether practiced by governments or private individuals. So when you are calling yourself Negroes, black folks, Ethiopian, you are putting yourself back into slavery. Negroes, colored folks, black people, Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves. So slavery has ended. And we are to proclaim our free national name. Now I'm going into another handout from the Moorish Science Above America from Temple 13. And I'm going to read the subject matter. This is called The Great Meeting is On. This is just a copy. A warning from the Prophet in 1928. And Prophet Noble Drew Ali is the founder of the Moorish Science Above America Incorporated. I'm going to read from through your free national name. So we're talking about your free national name. Your free national name is Moorish American. When you're proclaiming your nationality and your birthrights as a Moorish American. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unity, placing the Southerner, which was at that time without power, with the constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, see, that was during 1865. This is what our Constitution is for. So you can be recognized on the earth as a free national. The free national constitution law that was in force since 1774 declared all men equal and free. And see, you are considered a man and equal and free when you proclaim your nationality and your birthrights as a Moorish American. It goes on to say, and if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application. So this doesn't even apply anymore for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments for the salvation of our people and citizens. Goes on to say to the next paragraph. So there isn't but one supreme issue. See, this is a supreme issue. Supreme meaning it is above all. It is superior. Supreme issue for my people to use to redeem the which was lost. See, this was lost. We were stripped out of our nationality and birthrights during slavery. And that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lay down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed. See, they'll never be harmed. And when they're speaking of the lion and the lamb, they're talking about the rich and the poor. Because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land in those days. The United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out, and this Prophet Noble Drew Ali is speaking about love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Because first and foremost, you need love. That's the main reason why number 13, when we say Islam, when we greet you as Moorish Americans, and we say love and peace. And the main reason why temple number 13 says love first instead of peace and love, like most temples do, because we want you to get your love first, and it is our first divine principle, and then we'll see you later. That's why most of us Moorish Americans say peace. Out by the citizens, the governments of the world, but if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens and my people in this government, the worst is yet to come, because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people. And this great sin must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, disease, etc. And the prophet came forth. He prophesied things would happen. And they have happened. We are pretty much where we need to be at and focusing on success. Prophet Noble also brought healing teas, Moorish, which is a Moorish blood purifier. Moorish bodybuilder and blood purifier for men, women, and children, beneficial for rheumatism, lung trouble, rundown constitution, indigestion, and loss of manhood. So this helps bring back your manhood as well. Also, compound. And it tells you on each one, it is utilized for beneficial for dandruff, so you can wash your hair with it, rheumatism, stiff joints, tired and sore feet, also skin troubles, when used as a face wash, for general bath, and 2 teaspoons to the water in your bathe in, for a female douche, 1 teaspoon to 1 quart of water, for foot trouble, soften the water with 1 teaspoon, etc. of this powder and soak therein. Take 2 heaping teaspoons to 1 pint of water and steep in 15 minutes and bottle this as used there. So I use this to brush my teeth and wash my face. It helps my acne and it makes my face, clears my skin and whitens my teeth. And we have some oil. Now the Moorish oil, it tells you exactly what it is. Moorish healing oil. And Prophet Noble, he brought all these Moorish mineral and healing oil to save us, to help us, to heal us. These are healing products. Beneficial for rheumatism, neurology, headache, toothache, indigestions, sore and tired feet, and stiff joints. For loss of manhood, see here, that's loss of manhood again. Applied to the spine and lower parts of the stomach twice daily. Internally, 10 drops 3 times daily in a glass of water. Now I utilize this for stomach aches and headaches. I take some lukewarm water, about that much in a glass, 10 or 15 drops, and I drink it. It makes my stomach stop hurting, makes my headache go away. Maybe if I have a toothache, utilize it like Ambisol. You just put a drop on your finger, rub where your tooth is aching, and it makes the pain go away. Also, tip number 13, sells turbans. All our turbans come with instructions, so you know it's right over left and how to wrap. You are listening to the best. We are at WHPR TV 33. It is time to think. This is the Think Tank Show. Thank you for listening, and please make sure you come back next week at the same time. Love and peace.
Original, we the first to do it, and all these other nations are just our children. Even the pale skin was made in our image. Read the book of Ruth and check out your lineage. It's the melanin that gives us a dark complexion. That's a gene, no color separation. The Willie Lynch let it work to perfection. 2000 something and y'all still guessing. Don't know your nationality or your family tree, cause you refuse to listen to the prophet Drew Ali. So I put it in a rap to a mad production. So while your head bobbing, you can start to learning something. A great importance, there's so much to learn. Rewind and track and soak it in, knowledge is born. Better know who you are, discover the
Marvin said, it make me wanna holler.